Welcome to episode 114 of Uncovering the Corners of the World podcast. I'm your host, Karina Kasmala. Using research and my personal experiences where I actually set foot in some of these places, I'll be describing some of the unknown attractions in both the US and around the world, as well as share some of the hidden landmarks of some well-known places. This year not only marks the 250th anniversary of the United States, it also marks the 100th anniversary of Route 66. So we're going back to the Mother Road to catch up on some of the attractions in Illinois. I mentioned some in episode 87, Route 66, where the Mother Road begins in Illinois, but this week we're taking a closer look at some sites that capture small-town Americana, such as Gardner, Wilmington, Braidwood, Normal, and Funk's Grove in Illinois. Route 66 originally starts in downtown Chicago at the intersections of Adams Street and Michigan Avenue, specifically at 122 South Michigan Avenue. This year, for the 100th anniversary, the starting point was moved to Navy Pier, so the road connects pier to pier. We start in Gardner, Illinois, a town of approximately 1,400 residents. At the corner of East Mazan Street is a two-cell jail, a small brick building built in 1906. Inside the building are two cells, wooden chairs, and two skeletons propped up on the cots. There are pamphlets and magazines about Route 66 and a guest book. It is said that Beatles co-vocalist Paul McCartney once visited the two-cell jail for his 66th birthday and signed the guest book. However, that page from the guest book was stolen. Next to the two-cell jail is a streetcar labeled as the Riviera restaurant. It was a gift donated by Bob and Peggy Kraft. The streetcar represents what was left of the restaurant that burned down in 2010. Inside the streetcar is a counter and wooden stools, a cash register, and a mural of a chef in a restaurant kitchen. Further down the street towards the train tracks at 315 North Center Street in Gardner, Illinois, is the shop on Route 66. It's a bright red building covered with Coca-Cola and Route 66 signs, which does not compare to what you can find inside. In 1937, A.W. Perkins was the assistant manager of the town's lumber yard. He bought the lumber yard in 1944, and his family then owned the original lumber yard office. In 2006, Tom Perkins bought the building from A.W. Perkins' son and Thomas A.'s uncle. Tom Perkins noticed that a lot of people were always stopping by and asking for directions to landmarks on Route 66. So he decided to keep some informational pamphlets about the road in his shop. When he noticed that people stopped by to take pictures, he and his son decided to decorate the building. Adorned in Coca-Cola memorabilia, the shop on Route 66 resembles a love for the iconic soft drink, from the Coca-Cola toy cars to the small, coin-operated musical vending machines. Perkins mentioned that his wife refers to it as a mini museum, tourist information center, and sometimes workshop. Tom Perkins welcomes every guest and captures the spirit of Route 66 by sharing an extensive history of the route and the building itself. Many Route 66 enthusiasts are on the hunt for giants, and along the road there are a few giants that you can find. At 201 Bridge Street in Wilmington, Illinois, is Gemini Giant. This fiberglass statue is about 30 feet tall, dressed like an astronaut, wearing a green suit and a silver helmet, and is holding a small rocket ship. Built in the 1960s, this muffler man, as many have referred to this statue, represents America's fascination with space exploration in the 1960s. The Gemini Giant was originally standing in front of the Launching Pad restaurant at 810 East Baltimore Street in Wilmington, Illinois. The 600-square-foot restaurant, that was also once a drive-in, operated from 1956 to 2022. This muffler man is one of the last 4 fiberglass statues that remain along Route 66. In 2024, at an auction, the Joliet Area Historical Museum won the bid to purchase the Gemini Giant to uphold its historical significance along the road. The Gemini Giant was restored and installed permanently at South Island Park in Wilmington, Illinois, while behind the Giant is a gift shop called the Landing Pad at 110 South Part Street, Site C in Wilmington, Illinois. The gift shop sells Route 66 souvenirs, such as t-shirts, magnets, and other novelty gifts. Our next stop takes us to Polk-a-Dot Drive In at 222 North Front Street in Braidwood, Illinois. Founded over 50 years ago, this fast food diner is famous for its chili cheese fries, but also serve classic hot dogs, burgers, and creamy milkshakes. Outside the diner, you'll find life-size statues of Marilyn Monroe, Betty Boop, the Blues Brothers, Elvis, and across the parking lot there is Superman next to a phone booth. The theme of movie stars and musical legends continues inside the restaurant. Posters of Elvis Presley hang on the walls of the diner, and almost every table includes a mini jukebox. In one corner of the restaurant is a carnival-style mirror that distorts reflections, and there is also a working jukebox that plays classic hits from the 1950s. Next, we drive to a gas station in Normal, Illinois, that has served more than gas when it was in operation. Ryburn Place Gifts and Gab in Sprague Super Service can be found at 305 East Pine Street in Normal, Illinois. The building looks more like a two-story house than a typical gas station, and that was the architect's intention. In the 1930s, William Sprague built the Tudor Revival building, which is a type of architectural style that uses English-inspired building elements, such as a steeply pitched roof, narrow multi-pane windows, and patterned brickwork. The gas station sold city service gas, but also had a restaurant and a repair garage. The owners, attendants, and their families lived upstairs in the building. In 1946, besides selling gas and food, there were other businesses that operated over the years at Sprague's, such as a welding company, taxi company, rental car business, a bridal store, cake gallery, and a catering operation. After the 1960s, these businesses eventually replaced the gas station, and in 1979, the gas pumps were officially removed. In 2006, Terry Ryburn bought the building and renovated the building to resemble its 1930s appearance. The Ryburn Place Gifts and Gab in Sprague Super Service is on the National Register of Historic Places and was inaugurated into the Route 66 Association of Illinois Hall of Fame. Today, under the building's canopy are 3 gas pumps labeled City Service, while inside you'll likely meet Terry, the charismatic gift shop business owner and employee of the month, every month, who is well versed in the history of Normal, Illinois and Route 66 in Illinois. Driving past Normal, Illinois, and tucked away in a forest at 5257 Old Route 66 in Shirley, Illinois, is Funk's Grove Pure Maple Syrup Farm. At first glance, you might think the word syrup is misspelled, as we typically see it spelled as S-Y-R-U-P, not as S-I-R-U-P. However, around the 1920s, Webster's Dictionary noted that the preferred spelling of the word syrup is with an I, and defined the word syrup as the process of boiling sap from a maple tree without adding extra sugar to create the sticky liquid. In the 1950s, Webster's Dictionary changed the preferred spelling of the word syrup to S-Y-R-U-P, but Funk's Grove kept the original spelling of the word syrup. Funk's Grove was named after Isaac Funk, a farmer who raised livestock and made maple syrup and sugar in the 1820s. Isaac's sons helped run the farm when he was away, and around the 1860s, Isaac's youngest son, named Isaac II, managed the syrup production. Passing along the family tradition, Isaac's second son, named Arthur, established a commercial maple syrup farm where they installed metal spouts into the trees and dedicated a cabin to cooking the syrup. Over time, the syrup process was refined to churn out more batches of maple syrup. Fast forward to 2001, and Funk's Grove Maple Syrup Farm makes an average of about 1,500 gallons of syrup each season. The farm also produces maple candy, chocolate-dipped pure maple candy, pure maple cream, and bourbon barreled aged maple syrup. Today, the Funk's Grove Maple Syrup Farm continues to sell maple syrup and other products such as Route 66 memorabilia. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. While I recommend driving the road and stopping by these places to hear the stories firsthand from the people who work and live along Route 66, there are a few websites that you can visit, such as enjoyillinois.com, to read about the 2 Cell Jail and Riviera restaurants, and the shop on Route 66 website to learn about the shop on Route 66 in Gardner, Illinois, and its Facebook page called Perkins Wood and Glass The Shop. To learn more about Gemini Giant, visit the website legendsofamerica.com and read the article titled What's That Building? The Gemini Giant on WBEZ Chicago. To read more about the Polk-a-Dot Drive In, check out the website enjoyillinois.com. More information about Ryburn Place Gifts and Gab in Sprague Super Service can be found on the National Park Service website. And an in-depth history of Funk's Grove Maple Syrup Farm can be found on the website funkspuremaplesyrup.com. The music used in this podcast is from Make Sound Music. Have a great week.